Channel. My name is Jacinta. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. If you are new to the channel, welcome. So before we get into this video, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so that you're notified every time I post a new video. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So in this video, I'll just talk about how I discovered that I was depressed and how I overcame that depression. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first thing that that made me discover that I was depressed was, one, I just wanted to be alone. Like I'm an indoor type of a person, but I noticed that I just wanted to I wanted to hide myself from the whole world. Instead of being with my friends, chatting, I hated all that. I never liked that. I hated watching TV also. I hated all the social activities I liked. I really loved reading. I hated reading. I just wanted to be alone. I just wanted to be myself. And that really affected me. I noticed that, and yeah, that was the first sign. Then the second sign was I was mostly irritated with everything that people did, whether it's something fun or generally I wasn't just happy. Like I wasn't happy with anything that somebody did for me. Even if somebody just gave me something or did something for me, I was generally unhappy. I wasn't grateful. I wasn't, even if my parents wanted to do something for me, like I was just generally ungrateful and happy all the time. Then the third thing was that I noticed that I used to overeat. I was overeating so much. That year was the year when I had put on so much weight. And I was, instead of me thinking, I was just eating and eating and eating. Then the fourth thing that I noticed was I was crying a lot. I'm not an emotional person. I'm not an emotional type of a person. I rarely cry. So I just noticed that I was crying all the time, and even when I want to sleep, I rarely had sleep. I would just find myself crying and crying and crying. Why I'm crying, I didn't know. I was asking myself. Sometimes I would go. We had a chapel at the school that I was at a Catholic school, Little Girls Secondary School in Impika. We had a chapel, and I just used to go there and I'll be meditating. I'll be like, God, why am I feeling like this? Why am I crying all the time? I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not feeling anything. I was just feeling empty inside, and I was crying all the time. Then the fifth thing that I noticed was that I didn't perform well at school. I'm just generally intelligent. I think my parents can testify that I've always performed well in school. From the time I was young to up to now, I've always performed well in school. My parents have never had a problem with. But that at that time, my parents had a problem with it because I was performing very bad, and my performance was very bad, and I didn't even know what to do about it myself, because I was like, why am I performing like this in school? And it just generally affected me. Like it affected every aspect of my life. So so what happened was, when we closed and we went back to school, we went back home. So we had a holiday. I think that was in August. Yeah. So I decided to speak to my mom. When I went to my mom, I just talked to her about it, and I didn't necessarily tell her that I was feeling like this and like that. I just told her that I needed some counseling. My mom was like, "Why do you need counseling?" Because she would ask. She's a parent. She was asking me, "Why do you need counseling?" I was like, I just need to talk to someone, and I can't talk to you because you're my mom. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable expressing what I want to express, but I know that if I tell somebody else, I would feel much better. So my mom was like, okay. She was like, okay, there's no problem. I know this man of God, and he's very matured and will counsel you. He's not those ones where you just go, he'll start praying for you. He will counsel you the way that you want to be counseled. So I was like, okay. And then we went that side. We went there. My mom introduced me to him, and he said, My mom introduced me to him, yeah, and we got to talk. The first day, it was just basically introduction and just briefly highlighting. So when I went there in the office, I just told me, "Hi Jacinta, what brought you here?" So I explained myself. I was like, I don't know what's happening to me, but this is what I'm going through. I explained, and then he was like, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this into sessions. So you be coming every day at 7. Yeah, I used to go there every day at 7, and sometimes I used to go at 8, but most of the time I used to go there at 7, and we used to have 1 hour session every day, apart from weekends. Yeah, weekends, because he was a preacher, so on weekends he used to preach, and I used to go to my church. Yeah, so that's how I underwent the counseling. Lasted for 3 weeks, and that's how he cancelled me. He told me that for you to heal, you have to accept that you are in a depression phase. So I had to accept that I was depressed. I had to accept that I had to overcome this depression. Yeah. So yeah, and that's how after the 3 weeks depression, after the 3 weeks counseling that I underwent, it really helped me. I was so relieved. I felt less pressure, and I went back to my normal self, being a normal fun young girl that I was. So some of you might despise counseling, and you might think, no, I don't need help. But I'm here to tell you that you do need help when you feel that you need help. Nobody is going to identify that you need help. Remember, nobody understands you better than you understand yourself. So sometimes when you need help, make sure that you receive the necessary help that you need. Like, if I didn't tell my parents that I needed counseling, they wouldn't have known, because I pretended like everything was fine. I pretended like everything was okay, because I noticed that even when they just like correct me about this thing, I would be crying unnecessarily. I remember my mom was asking me, like, Jacinta, why are you crying so much? This is just a small issue. This is just like a small thing that we're just correcting you about. But I ended up crying. I was crying the whole night. My mom had to ask me this. So what I would like to just encourage you out there is that seek help. There are a lot of people out there who would want to help you. You don't even have to think of killing yourself. You don't have to think of leaving this world, when there are a lot of people that love you. There are a lot of people, your parents love you. They're ready to help you. They're ready to even pay for you. Actually, my mom was ready to even pay for me if the counseling had a fee. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so that you're notified every time I post any new video. If this video gave you so much value, please share it and leave a comment in the section below. Bye. See you in my next video.